To be punctual, 5 minutes left. We are a big group right now, and it's great to have you. Welcome one more time to all of you. I will just ask everyone to mute yourselves, okay, so that we do not have any overlapping noises. If you would like to keep your camera open, that is very encouraging. Our team, you can see here, everyone is really eager to meet you today. And I am very happy that we have this opportunity today to talk about free electrons and the opportunity that is ahead of you. Just a few clicks away to apply for those who haven't done it so far. I hope by the end of today, you will have all the information and energy to really go with this opportunity. Today's webinar is exactly for you. We brought information both about the program. We have guests that will share their first-hand experience from those that really went through the process, understand what the program is, they crack the code, so they know how to succeed, and they will share it today with you. There will be, of course, time for questions. If you have anything, you can already chat with our team here in the call chat, okay? So please use it. We are going to be gathering questions there, but there is a time where we want you as well to speak up. That will be in about 20-25 minutes. And we left a big part of this hour for your questions, because we want to make sure that you know everything there is about the program. By the end, I really encourage you all to stick until the end, because I must say that today we have a special gift for those that stay with us until the end. We prepared a really cool thing that I'm gonna only tell you by the end. For me, it's a pleasure to host you today. My name is Martyna Dudkiewicz, and I'm a part of the team that makes sure that free electrons run smoothly. So let's jump into that. Today, let's start with setting the stage. Many of you might know the Free Electrons brand, already heard about the program, maybe even apply. It's a great opportunity for any startups to really get on a fast track for growth. It is the biggest open innovation program in the energy sector that is right now happening in the world. It has a legacy of many editions so far, and the core of the program is really to bring innovators and the utilities to collaborate together and change the energy sector that we have. In few numbers, how can we describe free electrons? It has been going for some years. To be exact, those are 8 editions that were already completed this year in 24-25. This is going to be the 9th edition of the program. We are very proud to say that over the years, we managed to attract applications from more than 90 countries, and 116 startups went through the program as the top finalists, and they had the opportunity to went through the program. What is even more impressive and what we are even more proud of is that this program is really all about collaboration, is about bringing tangible results. And we counted in a number of pilots. So the projects that resulted from the program between startups and utilities. Until today, there are more than 220 pilots that happen between startups and utilities because of free electrons. You know that a big element of the program are the utilities. At the moment, we have 7 of them. However, the whole program involved more 13 companies that took a part of that and joined this movement. What might be even more interesting for you is those tangible results. So we talk about 220 pilots, but let's form it into different numbers. It means that utilities engaged in the program invested more than 50 million in pilots, only pilots happening, then the idea of that it's not only stop there, but go beyond, go in deployments, in the rollout. So look at the number, it's 67 million that until today was invested in the deployments of those projects on the continuation. It is very common as well for startups to receive some investments, so strategic movements to really join forces. Over this 8 years, it's been 36 million that were invested in startups. So I hope you really feel encouraged that this is a program that really brings tangible results to you. It's a launchpad too for growth. And let's focus on those that make it all happen. This is a group of 7 utilities from all over the world, starting from Canada until Australia, but actually covering a big part of the globe. Those are seven teams, 7 big organizations that are really involved. And if it wasn't for their involvement, the results wouldn't be that impressive. So I'm very happy to introduce CLP, EDP, E.ON, ESB, JERA, Hydro-Quebec, and Origin as the 7 utilities that take part in this program. Today, during our call, we have some of representatives with us, so it's great to have you with us as well. And I would like for you to be also familiar with those faces, because we are a team that, as I told you, make sure that everything runs smoothly. We are Beta-E, a collaborative innovation company that has been supporting free electrons for many years right now in making sure that the program is operating well, also reaching out to you. So you most probably heard already from Franziska, from Walter, and see other faces here. They're together with us on a call. They will be chatting with you. So you can always count on us if you have any questions and would like to clarify anything. Let's go right now to the structure of the program. I would like to stop here for 2-3 minutes and go with you through every single moment of the program, because I really believe it helps to understand what kind of opportunity it is for them. We are here in the open call happening right now. So this is a phase where it is call to action to you to go to the application form, fill it out, and make sure that you're in a group of applicants for the 9th edition of the program. The result of that, by the end of January, will be selecting 60 companies that will be moving to the next phase. The next phase is the pitch event. It happens online and it's going to happen in March. By this time, you will prepare a presentation about your product, about your offering and your aspirations. What would you like to do in the program? And that's your opportunity to do this presentation live in front of the utilities. After the presentation, you will have a chance for a Q&A session. So that will be a moment where you will engage already in the discussion with utilities. This is a very intensive week, especially for the utility partners that really assist all of the presentations. And what is the result of that? Only 30, so half of the startups are moving to the next stage. And the next stage already happens in presence. This is the module that this year will be hosted by Origin. It is going to happen in Australia. During the bootcamp in May, we are going to have 4 days really filled with interactions, with networking. This is a time where it's busy, like in a bee nest, where meetings are happening. You have lots of one-on-one meetings to meet with the utilities and to understand if there is a challenge solution fit. So how does it, what are the opportunities between you? And this is how the bootcamp ends. You end up with many open conversation opportunities to also learn more about the utility perspective so that you can address this with your solution. Again, here by the end of this stage, We are again the filtering half of the group. So from then on, only 15 startups will continue for the last two modules. And this is how we arrived to July master module. This year it's going to be hosted by CLP in Hong Kong in the beginning of July. And again, those are 4 days really focused on sitting together by the table, meeting utilities and going deeper. So conversation that already started. You will have some follow-up calls in between bootcamp and master module. And master module is a time to put things structured, going into details of how it is going to work so that there are no questions left whether it's a go, no-go decision. And this is how we arrive after 6 months to the grand finale. This year, it's going to happen in Ireland, and we will be hosted by ESB. And this is really a culmination of the program. This is a very exciting time because this is where we often celebrate lots of signed agreements. And this is where also the conversation about the collaboration pilot projects are finishing. So I would say that, every day there are some information about new partnerships popping up. That's a very exciting time. What is great about Grand Finale is that last day, it is Free Electrons Open Day. This is the ecosystem event where we're inviting broader network to join us. Also, that's an opportunity for you to present your company to a really broader ecosystem, not only of utilities, but maybe other potential clients and investors. The result, you really, after very intensive 6 months of work, starting from, let's say, March until October, this is the time where you focus on talking with utilities, engaging with the business units, with the innovation teams, and leading the conversation to a pilot project. I hope that really sounds good for you. And right now, we will move to the part that I'm particularly excited about because I can be talking to you lots and lots about the program, but who will be better than people that have been there, done that, and they know very well what the program is about. So I would like to present to you two special guests for today. First of all, Sorcia Flat. Welcome to our webinar. Sorcia is working for ESB. She is an innovation project manager at ESB, a leading energy company from Ireland. Welcome, Sorcia. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Martina. Good to be here.
Great, thank you. And our second speaker for today is Payvant Melati, CEO at Keytech. Keytech provide detailed building envelope audits using drones, thermography, and their proprietary AI software. It is also, Keytech is also an alumni of the Free Electrons 2024 finalist. Payvant, great to have you with us.
Thank you, Martina. Great to be here.
I am going to stop sharing my screen so we can really see each other here and have a good conversation. I have a few questions for you, and I hope that this is a great opportunity as well to really present a program from the practical point of view. So let's focus on that. Payvant, I will start with you, okay? So the startup perspective, alumni perspective. Can you tell us a little bit more? How has Free Electrons helped you to in the growth path and in the product development? What was the influence of the program during this short but intensive time?
I guess as a startup, what we need most and more than anything else is market validation as fast as possible to get market validation and having access to utility companies throughout this program. It's been great for us. We've managed to secure pilots with 3 out of the 7 utility companies that helps us quite a bit. First of all, understand what the utility company customers they want, and how we can adjust our product to tailor and cater to their needs.
That's great. Tell us more then about this pilots. Can you unveil a little bit more? How was the path? The pace. A little bit more about that.
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, our company, we measure the energy loss of the building from exterior of them, utilizing drones and AI software that we have. So we managed to talk to 3 out of the 7 of the utility companies, including ESB, that Sorcia is here. For us, they gave us the opportunity to test our technology first on their own buildings. And then hopefully we're hoping that in future we can turn it into a program for the utility customers. And from the pace point of view, it actually was quite fast, considering that utility companies are not famous to move fast on any project. So this was like really, really a pleasant surprise how fast these pilot projects happen for us.
That's really great. Payvan, I'm very interested because I know that the partnerships and those collaborations, they are focused on utilities, but I know that you have lots of conversation as well open with other startups. Is there anything interesting you can share here with us?
Absolutely. So part of this basically, we've met with these startups at least 3 times in person, and then before that online. So it creates that camaraderie and rapport with the rest of the cohort. And a lot of other startups that they wanted to, our headquarters is in Toronto, Canada, and that they wanted to move into Canada, and they wanted our help to grow in Canadian market. Basically, they reached out to us, and so we're working with them to provide some services for them in Canada as well. So this is not just the utility companies, but there's opportunity to work with other startups that's part of the cohort.
That's great to hear. I have just one last question. Payvant, I know that you are a great example of startup that really made the most out of the program. You were very engaged. What would you say to startups, to other participants of today's webinar that are considering applying to free electrons?
I think for me, if I want to go back a year ago, I would do a lot more research on utility companies. Their demand and their business model, monetizations, everything is different from utility company to the other. So if you want to be part of a free electron, which is a great program, I would do a lot more research on what is actually the pain point for each utility company separately. And I will tailor my presentations based on that and understand their need. That makes a lot more success, I guess, in this program.
Raven, that's a very golden tip, and I hope everybody heard that. We are going to mention that one more time, but it's great to hear this from you. Thank you, Payvan. Thank you so much.
No worries.
I have right now a few questions to you, Sorcia. Can you tell us more? It's not absolutely the first time that ESB is taking part of the program. You have been essential part of the program for many years right now. Can you tell us a little bit more, how does free electrons help utilities like ESB to solve your current and also the future problems and challenges?
Yeah, thanks, Martina. So for anyone who doesn't know, ESB is one of the co-founders of the program. So we've been there right from the start. And I suppose we've learned a lot over the last 8 years. But one thing that has remained the same throughout the program is that access to cutting edge technology at a scale and volume that we just wouldn't see outside of the program. Last year, we had a team of 6 of us assessing over 1,000 applications, which were then shared out across our business, all of the business units. And we just would not have the time to connect with that many startups. So that's the number one for us. And I suppose connecting with that many startups then allows us to find the best solution for very specific challenges within our business units. It acts as a radar as well, then also for new technologies to help us solve our problems in the future that maybe we didn't predict were coming down the tracks, but are. And I suppose one other thing to mention that is because free electrons is such a competitive process, and we put a notice out in the OJU and then we have a procurement exemption in place. So that means that we can trial the products really quickly, work with the startups within the timeline of the program. And again, that just helps us solve our challenges quicker and faster.
That's really great introduction here. Thank you. Now I have a question that I'm pretty sure many of the startups will have as well. So I'm gonna ask it right away. What are you looking for in a startup partner? Are there any qualities that makes a startup more successful than the others? Like what is the,
Secret
the
sauce.
secret sauce?
Yeah, I suppose there's a couple of things. I think number one is that the startup should be pilot ready. So this is a results focused program. We have R&D teams, we have people looking at earlier stage tech. We need you guys to be pilot ready. And look, a pilot can look like many different things. People will be at different TRL levels. But if you're putting in an application, have a really clear idea of what a pilot would look like. And back to Payvan's point, look at the different utilities and be specific about what a pilot might look like in the various different utilities. I suppose for us in ESB also, the solution has to be aligned with our strategy. So we're hoping to be net zero by 2040. So that's our key focus, and anything that can help us get there faster, to do what we do more efficiently, or also help our customers to get to net zero is another help. And I suppose lastly, just be open, be collaborative. Utilities, Payvan mentioned it, we can be slow. We have, in some cases, regulatory restrictions, hurdles, red tape. So we just ask that you be patient and understanding and work with us the best we can, I suppose.
Thank you. That's a very valuable perspective. Just to finish our conversation here, I have a one question to both of you. So think about this and tell us, what would you say is the reason why free electrons stand out from the other programs? What is the key value why startups should apply?
Will I go first? Yeah. Okay. I suppose what I love about free electrons is it's mutually beneficial for the startups and the utilities. So we want you guys to do well. We want to work with you guys. We're not interested in stealing your IP. We want to collaborate and work together to co-create. And I suppose Payvan kind of mentioned it earlier in terms of the time we spend together. And meeting physically in the different locations, you build a real relationship with each other. And I suppose friendship is really a key to doing successful business. So I think that's really special about the program, the relationships you build. One other point, I suppose, before I pass over to Payvan is this is a truly global program. So we have the utility partners, which have a direct route to market to 80 million customers. And also none of the utilities are competing with each other. So we're very open. We share the results. Again, we want the startups to do well. So we're constantly knowledge sharing the pilot results, and helping each other to serve our customers better. So that's another point.
Very special. Thank you, Saoirse. Payvan, would you add anything to that?
Yeah, I guess for a startup, the best scenario that can happen is for a bunch of utility companies that they have access to millions of customers, and there's potential for our technology to be adopted by these millions of clients. Just imagine that you have all of these decision makers in the same room and you're hanging out with them in few different countries. You're having meals, you're having drinks with them, and you create this relationship. This is the best opportunity to present your technology, to create a relationship. And then because you have all the decision makers all in the same room, and also I kind of see that the utilities basically they learn from each other as well, and the programs that within them. So it's utopia basically for an early stage company to have access to all of this and market and fun at the same time.
That's great. Well, I'm very glad we had this chance to hear you, because I wouldn't put it in a better words. Thank you so much for sharing this perspective with all our participants. And I hope you stay with us. And for everyone, if you will have any questions to Payvant or Sorsha, just wait a few more minutes and we will open up our Q&A. Thank you so much. Let me go back to my presentation. I have just a few slides for you, wrapping up of everything that you heard a moment ago. I would like to mention those 4 points that we really believe are the core value for you. So remember that Free Electrons, it is a program that really lets you sit in front of the 7 biggest utilities in the world and develop pilots with them. This is a very effective program that is focused on bringing results. So that is also an opportunity to you to launchpad and take off for rocket speed growth. Payvant mentioned about validating and improving solution. This is a comment that we hear every single time, because this is a collaboration. This is not, passing information, but actually working out things together. So startups really end up the program improving their solution, understanding better, opening eyes to how it really works, how to connect the dots. So that is opportunity to you to improve. You do not have to be perfect, but if you believe that you will bring value to the utilities, that's the time to apply. Building long-lasting relationships. We have multiple cases that relationships started in one of the 1 year, but it has been over and over the years developing to the next phases. As you know, often they start, and most often start with pilot project, but then we have rollouts, then we have investments. That's the time, and this is the type of the connections that are built in this program that last long and really create the community that collaborates further. Free Electrons is also a brand, and we really take seriously the challenge of educating the world about the impact we are creating here. So this is a program that will also give you visibility on the market and as well build your credibility, just because you will be able to work with big names on the market. So this is all for you. Just, reach out to that. You are a few steps from applying to the next edition. Maybe some of you already started your applications, but now is the time to do this. Apply to Free Electrons. You know that there is a form where you can go, you can fill out all of the questions we have there. The deadline is 24th of January, but do not leave it until that date. It takes time to do it. There are quite a few questions, and especially what is important and crucial to have your applications well done is that it has to be well prepared. Payvant mentioned that if he could go back in time, he would have explored more the challenges of the utilities. We have it ready for you. It is on our website. So be prepared for that. And that's an important element. Go to F-Success to the application form. You already have it in our chat. Click it, leave it open on your browser and make sure to finalize the process. I have few tips here for you just right away so that you know how to get along with the application form, how to go about that. As Pavan said, rule number one, do the research on utilities. Know who are you responding to? What are the challenges of the program? What do they want to hear? So think about this. Be specific, be straightforward. This is very important to show immediately what is the value that you're bringing to the table. We have lots of applications to go over, so make sure that your one stands out. There is a moment in the presentation where you are choosing your category and subcategory that were defined for the program. Make sure you do it correctly. This is very often the first filter that reviewers are applying when looking for the through the application form. So make sure that you choose correct category. There are 9 categories, 36 subcategories altogether. So make sure that you choose the ones from the same group. So spend time looking for that. Everything is available on the website, very clearly presented. Another tip for your application process is to leverage your previous success stories. It is great to have a benchmark. If you had already worked with some other utility companies or big brands, this is something we want to hear about. Or if there is a successful case that you can present as an example, what could be developed, share it. Make sure that your application process include this information. Last tip is to highlight your scalability and adaptability. So how you can grow, how this solution can grow, and also show that you are open to collaborate and adjust. This is really a process where you jointly work it out, the format, how it is going to work. So it's very important to know that you are flexible and you will be ready to work, pilot ready as well, to do it with the utilities. Now, I would like to move and spend the big part of our time for your questions, okay? So again, I am going to stop sharing my screen. If you would like to speak up and ask a question, please simply either raise your hand because we might have a queue here, and we are going to answer your questions. I know that we already have some in our chat. I am going to start with those, okay? But whoever has anything else, just please raise your hand. Okay, so starting with the first question. Can you share regarding the product and commercial maturity requirements for startups prior to applying to Free Electrons program? So first of all, for sure, we are looking for established companies. So this is the requirement number one. What Saoirse said as well, the successful experience in the program is for startups that are pilot ready. That can be different, and I will not close it in the box that this is the time that you need to be on the market, or this is the size or the clients that you need to have in your portfolio. No, you need to be pilot ready. So you need to be know that your technology, your solution is ready to go with the project with the utility partners. Okay. Use this, be bold, take this step, apply to the program, because remember that application form is also a way for you to be exposed to the utility partners. I can promise you they are very engaged and they look at every single application, okay? So you will be noticed, and if you do it well, there will be a chance as well to present you whether you are, on the market for a longer, shorter time, you're bigger, smaller. Give yourself a chance. Payfant, we have a question for you. How did you manage intellectual property?
Good question. So I don't think in any of these pilot projects, at least my experience, the utilities, they ask for your IP or share your IP, if that's what the question is. We do have an IP strategy for our startup. We have granted patents and we have trade secrets that we keep for ourselves. But from utility companies, there's no request so far. We haven't seen that they ask for share IP throughout the pilot projects. I'm not sure if that's the target of the question.
I hope it, whoever asks, if you feel like a follow-up, go ahead. Thank you, Pavent. Good. Edgar, I see you already raised your hand for you not to get tired with your hand raised. Go ahead and ask a question. What would you like to ask?
Thank you for the consideration. I have a question about the questionnaire, about the question number 26. It's about the invitation. In this moment, we are working with one of the partners. In concrete, we are working with ION, but with a different department of ION. It's a quantum computing department. The invitation have to be done by because the quantum computing department, they express that they will be happy to invite us, but have to be done from can be done from them, have to be done from another one. They are happy to write us an invitational letter if we need it.
This question, I believe it's not so extensive. It is rather to say whether you got some kind of recommendation from a partner or somebody invited you there. So go ahead and mention Ion there. That will be enough. It does not require any more formality, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Good. Any other questions? Think about this. I will go here to another question we have. There are many divisions and departments within the utility industry. How is exposure to specific divisions within a sector facilitated through the program? And here where you had mentioned like generations, IT, metering, and so on. What I can say is that the teams that you will be meeting in the program are very often same faces, familiar faces that join to the modules, and their role is to represent the whole utility. It happens, and this is a very common practice that specific business units and people responsible for the decision as well for the pilots, they join the program as well. So the program will definitely allow you to meet with the innovation units that will be taking care of you as well from the side of the utilities. They're often the ones that go really deep with you into the design, but when the time is right, the business units are as well involved.
Martina, can I add to
yes,
that?
I felt you wanted to add. Go ahead, Kasia.
Yeah, so I suppose for our team in ESB, we're the central innovation team, but there's also innovation teams in each of the business units, and we have an innovation lead that we engage with in each business unit. So I suppose I like to think of myself as a matchmaker. So if the startup comes to me, it's my mission to find the appropriate person in ESB to introduce you through. That can happen at different stages of the program. The earlier the better, but say, for example, in Pavan's case, I think we found the right person in the summertime, but then very rapidly the pilot was signed. So there's not a concern that just because the utility is very big that you're not going to get the chance to talk to the right people. We do lots of virtual meetings. We meet at boot camp. We bring BU people along, and if the correct person isn't there at boot camp, we will connect you digitally afterwards. So,
thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you. Simon, would you like to go next? We still have some questions here on the side, but go ahead.
Thank you, Martina. Hi, everyone. I'm Simon Roberts from Heatio. We're developing a virtual power plant in born out of Liverpool. We've been working with E.ON now for a couple of years, and I've already been involved in a couple of government pilots. Going through the application form, I wasn't sure whether the fact that we've already been involved in pilots first question was, would that preclude us from applying for the application? And secondly, some of the details of those pilots were yet to submit the report into the UK government. Are we so we may be limited in what we can share in the application form, but in a subsequent stage we would be able to. Would that be a problem?
The fact that you have been working with other utilities, I mean, that's great. And this is exactly the case that I mentioned, that it is really worth mentioning. It is a very common situation that startups applying to the program already were invited, as our Edgar was mentioning before. So it is completely fine. Could you please repeat the second part? I had some cuts here. I couldn't hear very well.
Yeah, apologies. Yeah, it was just that in terms of the details of the projects that we've already been involved in, one of them is currently a government pilot, which is due to end in February, which is obviously the application would have closed by then, but we're not necessarily able to release the full details of that program, the work that we've done within it, until February. Is there an opportunity after this initial application to share more details?
It is, of course, that's a very interesting case. I would say just the fact that applications will be over. Unfortunately, we are not able to edit your application afterwards, okay? So just to leave it clear. However, if there is any chance for you to share as many details that it is possible, I believe that if everything goes well and we see each other in March for the pitch event, that will be a great content, a perfect content to include in your pitch presentation. So if you can give like a taste of that, or kind of understanding that this is happening, the size of that, so that it also builds your credibility, this is a very important element, very valuable one. Definitely use it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Martina.
Okay, another very important question. When I went through the program, it was virtual because of COVID. What happens to participants now who have to go to Australia? Is there a subsidy for travel? Very good question, and yes, there is. 3 of the modules are in presential, coming from bootcamp in May until October in the master module and grand finale. They're in presence. We need 2 of your team members to join us on every single one, and it is very important to be in presence, and for both of you. There is a support to help you with the travel. Okay, there is a amount that will allow you to cover, usually this is majority of the costs, and then the cost of the stay at the place is all covered by the program. Okay, so yes, it is a support for you to really be able to join us and be in presence presentially with others. Good question.
Martina, we have Francisco here with his
okay.
hand.
Okay, sorry, didn't see. Go ahead, Francisco.
worries.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? ¿Qué tal? Francisco Lavoy from Genmoji in Puerto Rico. First of all, thank you for this. This has been very, informative for us. But just want to make sure, in the case of Genmoji, we have a technology that we're about to go pilot. We should be ready to pilot in between January and March of 2025. Would we need to be ready for pilot today, or will we need to be ready for pilot next year during the program?
That's a very good question as well. What I can say is that because it is open for different maturity of startups, and this is a very common thing to see startups that often even have like a kind of a ready prototype, but it's so interesting for the utilities that they get to the program and they continue, although this is the early stage and talking about things that might happen in few months. So those cases as well happen, and definitely if some of the it is important to count in your capacity to participate in the program. When you submit your application, we are assuming that you know about the need for 2 people to join the modules, okay? So 3 presential modules. So even please consider this, that this is investment of time, and this is really required once you get in. When it comes to the time of the pilots, remember that this is always a two-way street. It's not that it starts today and let's get going, but as often there has to be a right time for the utilities. But I really believe that it is not a problem if your time frame will be a little bit more distant, and that is the need. Sarsha, would you like to add anything?
I suppose, Martina, that the definition of a pilot is very broad. So we've had pilots that have been new products that have gone into customer homes as part of a pilot. We've had pilots that are much earlier stage check that could be seen as more R&D projects. So I suppose it just needs to be that it's more than a person with an idea. You know, you have to have something concrete, but that doesn't mean that you have to be a very established business. I would also say if you're borderline ready to pilot, apply anyway, because we review every single application. We might think something's interesting. Maybe this year isn't the right time, but if you apply again next year, we say, oh, I remember seeing this last year. Let's see how they've developed. You also have the opportunity to say what's changed between your application in a year's time. So personally, I think the time that's needed to invest to put in an application is worth it. If you're on the borderline, go for it, and you never know what's going to happen.
No, I appreciate that. We actually use evangelists or customers that are willing to be part of the pilot and share the data. So this is where we stand right now, and we expect that to happen at some point in the beginning of next year. So I appreciate that.
Good, Francisca. Thank you for your question. Anyone else? We still have time. I have 2 questions here, so let me go with that. And whoever else, please raise your hand. The question goes, we are developing a hardware solution, and I was wondering how you would suggest to go for the pilot proposal. Should it be geographically specific, as moving hardware is not that easy, or can the pilot be considered to happen in our location and having utilities to visit be acceptable? Great question. A very common situation, as many of the startups are have some kind of a hardware. Okay. When you fill out the application and you are talking about the potential pilot that you have in mind, what is important to do is to be definitely realistic. Okay, so this is the tip that we can give you, that you need to take everything into consideration. If there's physically no way to move your hardware anywhere else, or the costs are crazy, maybe it's actually better to bring the utility team to your location and do it there. If there is a way to transport it, kind of made the counts and specify that. What I would suggest you to do is also be flexible. Okay, it happens both ways. There are pilots where, because of the size of the machinery, of the hardware, it has to happen for the sake of the pilot exactly in the location where the hardware is placed. But there are also the other cases where the pilot includes moving this to a specific location. So I'm not sure what's exactly your case, but please think and keep it realistic, however flexible. That is my advice to you. Okay. I have two more questions, and we have just those 5 minutes, so I think we are right on time. Do you consider do you consider interesting for this application carbon accounting companies? Saoirse, would you like to help me here?
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
do. So that's something that we'd be looking at in our utility. So yes, definitely pop in an application.
Great, thank you. Okay, we have two more. Okay, how do you look at pilots in collaboration between 2 or 3 startups within the program? I believe the question is from Batur Radio. Can you tell us a little bit more? What did you mean by that?
Yeah.
Hello,
So
Batur.
thank
Hi.
you. Yeah, thank you, everyone. So in a very similar program in Turkey with utilities, at the end of the program, the utility actually wanted to combine two different projects together and do a single pilot application, because we were the software provider and another company was developing the hardware. So it was a like sodium ion battery involvement in utilities. We developed the management software and the integration with the utility. The other company developed the hardware. So is it something that's going to be applicable in this case? Because sometimes you can maybe combine the budgets for two different startups and come up with a better project in these applications.
What is for sure happening is that once the cohort is set, so we have a group of startups already participating in the program. There are plenty of conversation that goes about exactly joining the forces and looking at the synergies. Often this is not only involving two startups together, but those are two utilities that would like to also join the program and do something either bigger or share costs, have this discussion. So this kind of combination is definitely happening. It is those are great examples. They are much more, I believe, complex to set up, but they do happen. When it comes to applying with another company, I am not sure that this is happening, but go ahead and apply. I would say that if you have this case that you joined forces with others and explain it why it happened, that will be a very valuable information as well, to have a full context that not only that you're showing about the pilot that involved you, but also you're showing the ability to collaborate in a bigger group, which is a very valuable element.
Yeah,
Good.
thank you.
Okay, we have one more question. Saoirse, I will ask you to help me here, okay? Do utilities work with tier 2 or tier 3 supplier? For example, material or battery cells for the application of BESS?
Okay, I think this person is talking about if they want to do a project on one of our assets that maybe is under contract, so a battery that's under contract with the OEM, I think. In that case, we have a lot of assets that are out of contract. So rather than break the contract or influence the warranty, we would use a battery that is out of contract, or similarly, we're doing a project with Reblade this year and we'll do it on a wind farm that's out of contract. I think that's what the person is asking. So it hasn't been an issue. We find workarounds, I suppose, in that case.
Okay, I hope it answers. If not, please let us know. We have just one last question, and we will be wrapping up to make sure we answer all of them. Windscape AI platform has features with value to the wind farm operators and separately to the dispatch and trading of energy from the wind farms. These are likely two different departments or divisions in the utility. Can we either designate two categories or put in two applications? Oh, that's a very good question.
We've had this in the past, Martina, and I suppose one application is usually enough, but just maybe in your pitch deck or in the video, distinguish that there's different use cases that might apply to different teams within the utility. But that's common. I think better to just put in one application and just clearly define the different use cases.
That's right. I can recommend you that in the section where you select the categories, choose one of those. However, there is a third question that is like an open text. Add it there that you will be presenting two cases and you would like to be considered for another category and subcategory as well. Please do that, okay?
Can I give a tip, Martina? Sorry, just before we finish.
Please.
Oftentimes, if you think about 1,000 applications and a team here that assesses every single one, something that often stands out is the 30-second video introducing yourself and your solution. It doesn't have to be fancy. Selfie camera on your mobile phone, let us see your passion, talk us through it simply in a couple of lines. It would take 2 minutes to record. It can just help when you're into application number 500 and you're trying to stand out. That's my final little tip.
That's a great tip. Thank you, Saoirse. And this is how we end up with the questions so far. Thank you very much one more time for your time. It was great to have so many of you. And please always know you can stay in touch with us, ask us anything, or schedule a short meeting to answer your questions. Thank you a lot. Have a good rest of the week. Let's be in touch.